Everyone knows that God said, "Let there be light." But people don't talk about the miracle. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Just like that. Another miracle. Adam, the world's first inhabitant, was molded out of the earth. God created him simply. He could move and maybe even speak a little, but God wasn't done yet. So, he whispered something into Adam's mouth. Chai, perhaps. Life. And Adam woke up. See, in Judaism, words have power. The power to create. Remember that. Our story takes place in Prague. In the 16th century, the Holy Roman Emperor, Rudolf II, kept ordering attacks trying to expel and massacre the Jews. Something that curiously always seemed to be happening to these people. The local rabbi, called the Maharal, wanted to do something to help, but he knew he couldn't fight. The people couldn't fight, so he remembered. He thought of light being spoken into existence, and of Adam rising out of the earth, incomplete, and the Maharal channeled the power of creation. If he couldn't save his people, he would make something that could. He gathered clay from the banks of the river and molded the clay into the form of a man. What good is a clay statue, you might ask? Well, like with Adam, there was one final step. It needed a Shem, a name. So, the Maharal wrote the word Emet, truth, on the golem's forehead. And the golem woke up. Of course, he was not as sophisticated as Adam. The Maharal didn't have that much power, for good reason. But the golem would do just fine. He was huge and fearsome and strong. He alighted upon the Jewish people's enemies. He fought for them. They created him, and he would defend them. As one of them, with the truth of his being. The golem was winning. He was keeping them safe. Here, the story diverges. Some people say the golem got out of control. He turned on the people and the town and the synagogue he was supposed to protect, no longer recognizing friend from foe. He knew only one truth. The truth for which he was created. To fight. Destroy. Perhaps if the golem's forehead had been larger, the Maharal could have written more specific instructions. But now he was desperate. His creation had gone too far. He managed to get close to the golem. And he erased the first letter, the Aleph, of Emet from the golem's forehead. The golem was left with Met, dead. He melted back into the earth. Into darkness. Other people say, and this is the version I like more, the golem became so powerful, so formidable, that the Holy Roman Emperor himself begged the Maharal to restrain it. Please. And in return, he would promise to protect the Jewish people of Prague from now on. That was the right thing to say. The correct words. The Maharal, feeling merciful, agreed. Rest, he told the golem. Peacefully, somewhere in the ghetto. Or maybe in the attic of the synagogue itself. And the golem slept. His work was done. But he's still there, waiting to be spoken back awake, just in case the Jews need a defender. You never know when you might need to bring something out of the darkness. Just remember to choose the right words.
Long ago, there was an old man and an old woman who lived as peasants and loved each other very much. The old man would work tirelessly cutting wood day after day to support him and his wife, while the old woman took care of the housework, tended their gardens, and made supper. The old couple prayed daily for a baby, but none ever came. One day, the old man went to cut wood, per usual, and the old woman went to the river base to wash clothes. One by one, she took her clothes out of her basket and rolled stones onto them in the cool river water. As she was hard at work, a giant peach came floating down the river. She had never seen a peach so big in all of her 60 years of living. She thought, "That peach must be so delicious. I will take it home to my husband as a special treat." She reached out her arm, but it was not long enough. She looked for a stick, but there were none to be found. And if she went looking for one, she would certainly lose the peach. Pausing to think about what to do, she remembered an old charm and clapped her hands as she chanted this song. Distant water is bitter, near water is sweet. Pass by the distant water, come into the sweet. Strangely enough, the peach floated closer and closer to the old woman until it stopped right at her feet. She hurried home. "This is certainly the largest peach I've ever seen," said the old man. He went to the kitchen to find a knife, when suddenly the peach split in two and a healthy young boy emerged. The couple fell silent in astonishment. "Don't be afraid. Heaven has had compassion on you. They have heard your cries for a child day and night, and I am sent to be your son." Upon hearing this news, the old man and old woman were delighted. They had indeed cried many, many nights in the hopes of receiving a child. The old man held the boy close to him, then the old woman, and they named him Momotaro, or Son of a Peach. Years quickly flew by, and Momotaro grew to be 15 years old. He grew into a fine young boy. He was the strongest and bravest of all the young men in the village, and had a heart full of courage. He was also very wise for his years. The old man taught him how to read and write, and the old woman taught him how to sing and the importance of hard work. And whenever possible, she would make him his favorite treat, millet dumplings. She made the best yarimasho in all of Japan. But one night, while Momotaro was eating his dumplings, demons and ogres called Oni came sailing down the river. They stole food and treasures from the villagers. They trampled the farmers' crops into the ground, and they ripped the fishermen's net apart just for fun. Momotaro came to his mother and said, "Mother, it is by strange chance we have become mother and son. Your goodness has run deeper than the river you found me in. I do not know how to thank you enough. When you are older, it will be your turn to take care of us. All will be equal. Before I begin to pay you back, I have one request. I will do whatever you wish, as you are quite different than other boys. Then let me go away at once. The old woman was stunned. She replied, You wish to leave your old father and mother and go away from your home? I will surely come back if you let me go now. I will stop the Oni from attacking our village because I want to repay your goodness. Pack up the rest of the dumplings from supper, and I will be on my way. The old woman thought it best to do as Momotaro wished. She packed up the remaining 4 dumplings, and after a quick goodbye to his mother and father, off he traveled to Ogashima, the island where the Oni resided. Along his journey, he met 3 brave, fierce, but hungry animals: a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. With each encounter, the animals sang, Momoto, Momoto, those millet dumplings on your waist, won't you give me one? The song sounded sweet and familiar. It reminded him of his mother. Moved by the song, he gave each animal a millet dumpling. To return his generosity, each animal volunteered to join the brave Momotaro and trekked onward to Ogashima. On the day they finally arrived, they staked out the castle as they watched as the Oni feasted on roasted cows and bulls until they fell asleep. But Momotaro had a plan. They blew out all their lamps and then outnumbered them with a sneak attack! The pheasants swooped over their heads, pecking their faces, flying circles all around, so quick that they didn't know if they were being attacked by one bird or dozens. Then the monkey swooped in and out, weaving all around their ankles, biting their calves. Meanwhile, the dog barked and growled and attacked the Oni so viciously that they were no match. The Oni were too full to fight, and Momotaro knew that they stood no chance against him and his crew. And, thanks to have eaten the best millet dumplings in all of Japan, Momotaro's party had the strength of 1,000 people and had the ogres fearing for their lives. The king of the Oni made up his mind to surrender. He knelt to the ground and broke his horns out of submission, as did all the other Oni, following the king's lead. Please, he begged, spare our lives and we will give you our treasure. And promise never to attack my village again. We promise, sobbed the Oni king. They relit the lamps to find that they had been fooled by a young boy, pheasant, monkey, and dog. They felt so foolish that without another word, they fetched their treasure. Momotaro returned home and was made to be a hero as the country rejoiced that they are now freed from the evil band of devils. And as a warm thank you, he was able to keep the treasure the Oni gave him. The old couple had more joy than ever before, and his mother made yarimasho, and he and his new animal friends, alongside with his old mother and old father, shared a peaceful and delicious meal.
Long ago, there were 2 hero twins who were so brave and so smart that they defeated the sun. Well, not exactly the sun. You see, back in those times, there lived a great demon bird named Vukub Caquix. who was jealous of all the love and adoration that the sun received for providing light and warmth to the people. And so one day, Vucub flapped his great wings and pushed all the clouds in front of the sun so it could no longer shine on the people.
I am your sun now, he proclaimed, and as long as you provide me with whatever I ask for, I will continue to shine light and warmth to all my beloved subjects. But even think about denying me, and I will take it away.
For you see, Vucub many teeth were made of dazzling jewels, and he had positioned the clouds in such a way that only a single beam of light shone through, which reflected off his shining teeth and provided light to the world. Many years later, two young twin boys, Hunahpu and Ixbalanque, went out on a mission to try and reason with Vucub because they had had a hard winter and their mother couldn't meet his ever-increasing demands. They hoped that he might take pity on two young boys and allow her more time to collect her offering. And so the boys approached Vucub sitting high up in his nest, and Hunahpu, the braver of the two boys, politely said, "Excuse us, O great and powerful Vucub We come to you on behalf of our mother, who is unable to meet the demands of your offering this year."
"Oh, really?"
Vucub says, and he sweeps down, and in a flash of talons grabs hold of Hunahpu's arm. "Hey, let go!" Hunahpu shouts, struggling to free himself. But with a terrible ripping noise, Vucub tears off Hunahpu's arm and carries it back to his nest.
"Well, looks like this will have to do for now. Tell your mother that you will have your arm back after she has paid her full amount."
Enraged at this terrible act, Ixbalanque lifted up his blowgun and shot a dart right into Vucub monstrous face.
"Ah! You cracked my beautiful teeth! How dare you strike he who provides you light! You shall never have your arm back now!"
And with that, Vucub flapped his giant wings and blew the twin brothers far away from his nest. Defeated, the two boys started their long journey back home, when Hunahpu was suddenly struck with a brilliant plan. Quickly, they raced all the way back to their village, where they changed into two very clever disguises they were sure would fool the evil bird. Unable to even recognize themselves, the twin boys grabbed a bag full of kernels of corn and rushed back out into the jungle. Their plan having been set in motion, the two boys once again approached Vucub only this time in disguise. As they neared the nest, they heard the pitiful moans of the enormous bird, who appeared to be in great pain. "Oh, great Vucub Ixbalanque said, "we heard tales throughout the jungle that you have been injured and are in need of some help."
"Yes, please," Vucub moaned. "I will give you anything you desire if you will help relieve this terrible pain."
"Well, as you can see," Ixbalanque continued, "my brother here lost his arm many years ago in a terrible accident. If there's any way that you can help him, we would be more than happy to fix whatever is causing you pain."
"How delightful," Vucub said. "I happen to have an extra arm right here, and it's nice and fresh too. Fix my dazzling teeth, and it is all yours."
"It is settled then," said Hunahpu. "Now, In order to fix you up, we will have to take out all of your teeth one by one, clean them with our magical healing water, and then replace them. It will be a painful process, but once it's done, it will be as though nothing ever happened.
Sounds perfect!
And with that, Vukob K-Quicks opened his mouth as wide as it could go. The twin brothers immediately set to work, one by one, ripping out all of the evil bird's teeth. And replacing them with the kernels of corn. Finally, the task was finished. "All right," Hunahpu said. "We're all finished now."
Wait, what's this? My teeth! They feel different! They feel weak!
"That's because we replaced them all with kernels of corn, you horrible demon!" shouted Ixbalanque as he and his brother ran from the creature.
Give them back, or I'll make you pay!
Screeched Vukob K-Quicks as he tried to follow them. But as he flapped his wings, he raised up a mighty wind that slowly pushed all of the clouds out from in front of the sun. Finally freed from years of imprisonment, the sun grabbed the giant bird in one of its beams.
"You betrayed me, Vukob K-Quicks," the sun said, "and for that you will be banished."
But without my teeth, I can't eat!
"Then you will starve."
And with that, the sun threw the monster far away from this land, where he would never hurt anyone again.
"Thank you, boys, for saving me," the sun said. "I thought I would never be able to escape. How can I ever repay you?"
Hunahpu timidly asked, "Would you be able to reattach my arm?"
"Anything for you,"
the sun said, and Hunahpu was suddenly filled to the brim with warmth and light as his arm reattached itself to him.
"Now, if you ever need anything else, just say the word and I will be there."
They waved goodbye as the sun returned to the sky to shine and provide light and warmth to all of the people. And from then on, they would forever be known as the hero twins who defeated the sun.
Everyone knows the lion is the king of the jungle, but it wasn't always this way. In the beginning, the buffalo was the fiercest meat-eating hunter and king of the bush. All the animals trembled when they heard his hooves pounding the earth. He was the most feared animal on the plains. Even the mighty lion feared the buffalo. This is the tale of the brave lion who changed that forever and brought harmony to the bush. One hot Sub-Saharan day, the strongest, greediest buffalo was out hunting and caught Lion resting in the shade of a tree. Buffalo was about to charge and kill Lion when Lion awoke and pleaded, "Spare my life, Buffalo, please! I have a family to feed. If you spare my life, I will be indebted to you and do anything you ask." Buffalo thought to himself for a moment. He didn't usually let animals live, but being as he was quite a lazy and greedy buffalo, he could see a way to use Lion. So he replied, "All right, you can live, if you bring me food whenever I tell you." Lion quickly agreed, and so Buffalo told Lion to catch a fat antelope grazing nearby. Lion did as he was asked and dragged his catch back to Buffalo, who ate the whole antelope without offering Lion a scrap. He sent Lion home hungry, without any food for Lion or Lion's family. As Buffalo settled down to take a long nap, he congratulated himself. "What a good bargain I made!" The next day, Buffalo ordered Lion to kill a zebra. Again, Lion went off and found a zebra. He watched Buffalo eat the kill without sharing any. Every day, Buffalo ordered Lion to catch him something and never shared any of the food. As months went by, Buffalo grew bigger and fatter and ate more and more until he was having 4 large meals a day. Lion had no time to do anything but hunt for Buffalo. He grabbed scraps of food for himself and his family when he could. He became thin and exhausted. His family grew weak and his cubs starved. Lion wondered how much longer he could go on. One day, Buffalo, whose appetite had become gigantic and who was so enormously fat that he could hardly move, called to Lion. "Come here, Lion! Lion! I want to have a feast. Catch me one of every animal in the bush," Lion cried. "Oh, that's impossible! Look at me! I'm thin and tired. Please, let me go hunt for my family. They are starving because I have no time to help them find food. I have hunted for you for months. It is enough now. Please, free me from my promise." Buffalo let out a mighty bellow, saying, "No, you cannot! You are indebted to me. I saved your life. You will go on serving me always, as will your family when you die. Now, go find me food as I ordered. I'm starving." Lion was enraged. He had served Buffalo well, done all he had asked, and now he was threatening his family? Just when Lion thought getting free from his servitude was hopeless, he had an idea. A gleam came into his eyes. He saw Buffalo for what he was, a slow, greedy thief who couldn't outrun Lion. Lion replied calmly, "You ordered me to catch you one of every animal in a bush?" "Yes, that's what I said." "You ordered me to serve you one of every animal in the bush, but I shall serve you to all the other animals in the bush." With that, Lion summoned all his remaining strength and leapt onto Buffalo's huge back and sank his fangs into Buffalo's neck. Buffalo fell to the ground, dead. It was not Buffalo who had a feast that day, but Lion, his wife, and his cub. They ate, and ate until they could not eat any more, and shared the rest of Buffalo with their other lion friends. Because of Lion's courage and cleverness, he was able to outsmart Buffalo. As for the buffalo, they learned to only take what they needed from the land. They started to eat grass and never hunted again.
Growing up, my father told us many stories. This is one of my favorites. The story of the crazy woman's fork. as told by Iron Bull. Long ago, my people, the mighty Crow tribe, were at war with the Sioux tribe. We ruled the land from the Great Missouri River all the way to the Yellowstone River. No one dared enter our territory. We felt unstoppable, but I was there to watch it all fall apart. Though we were strong, our people turned wicked. We became greedy, believing the gifts of the land were ours for the taking, fighting with anyone and everyone who so much as stepped on our land. This angered the great spirits to act. They sent us the sun, but not the sun as we know it. The angry sun was upon us. It grew so hot that all the water in the land and rivers dried up. Animals left, crops would not grow, and women and children were dying. And this time, war persisted. They continued to pursue the enemy and keep growing their land. But the people were at their lowest. Hope was the only thing that they had. One night, the great medicine man of the tribe had a dream. In this dream, he was told to send the chiefs of the tribe to the river's fork. The next morning, they followed the river for many, many miles, until, at the fork, they found a woman in white waiting for them. They marveled at her. She spoke. The great spirits sent me to speak on their behalf. You have made the spirits angry. You must make peace with the Sioux tribe, and your people will be saved. Peace was made between the Sioux and the Crow for the first time in 100 years. This was a wonderful accomplishment. Our tribes could now live in peace. On their journey back to the river's fork, the men were weary, for the land was still dry and no buffalo roamed. When they returned to the river's fork, the woman in white once more gave them instructions on how to help their people. She said, "Follow the mountain west until you reach Big Horn River. There, you will find a large rock. Shoot 3 arrows into the rock, and your people will be saved." As the men set off, one man turned around to get a last look at the woman in white. She was floating upwards in a beam of sunshine toward the heavens. The men were stunned. The great spirits work in mysterious ways. Their only hope of helping their people was to go westward. When they came to the large rock, one man drew his bow and fired 3 arrows. The first arrow sailed straight into the rock. The second flew over the mountains. Lastly, the third made a horribly loud sound. Boom! When the third arrow reached the ground, the heavens opened and shined upon the men. There was thunder and lightning dancing around the sky. Boom! Boom! Just where the lightning hit the ground, a large hole formed in the earth. From that hole came countless herds of buffalo spilling out. The rain poured down, and the men praised the Great Spirit. To this day, the story of the Crazy Lady's Fork is told to remind people to be hopeful. Even in the darkest times, peace will save the people.
This is the story of the Selkies, the Seal people that live to this day near the Orkney Islands of northern Scotland. There exists many different versions of their story, even stories that you may have heard before. Now, what makes the Selkies so special is that they have the ability to change. from their natural seal form into that of a beautiful woman. They do this by shedding their seal skin when they choose to walk among us. However, the Selkies must have the skin if they're ever to return home again. This tale of the Selkie women of Orkney may end differently, but always begins the same. As the story goes, while bathing in a lake, the Selkie woman has their seal skin taken from them by a fisherman, who gives their word to return it if she will become their wife. In the first version, the fisherman threatens the Selkie into staying. She must obey if she's ever to see her home or her own children again. In the second, the man compromises to say that if she marries him, that he will return her skin so that she may occasionally visit home. But she was deceived. A tale within a tale. She pleads for the man to give something that was never theirs to have. The third man, upon finding the skin, sees the Selkie nearby. She had fallen from a rock and was injured greatly. The man brings her in her seal form home to care for her, to heal her. When she wakes the next morning, he too holds on to what is not his, forcing her to stay. She protests at first, but learns of his child, whose mother died giving birth to him. She stays for the child, a story we know all too well. Time passes. The world goes on. However, in the Selkie's new home, little changes. Every day staring out to the sea longingly, hoping to return to the place from which she was taken too soon. Until one day, when the man was gone, his own mother, who knows what it means to hold on to hope so tightly that it turns to dust in our hands, her own destiny ordained long ago. She decides against the will of her son that she will give the skin back to her new daughter so that she may return home. The Selkie runs off as quickly as she can. There isn't a moment to lose when so many have been already, an entire lifetime given back in an instant. When the man returns home, and his mother tells him what she's done, he leaves immediately on a journey to find her, bringing along their son to remind her of what she's leaving behind. In the end, she knows she must stay with her own people, her own children, knowing that the life she had been living was never hers, even if for a moment in time it felt like the only place she could belong. But upon seeing the boy she had grown to love, she gives her word that she will return once a year for their son, who had become one of her own as much as any of her children, to show him that home and hope can live under the same roof, and that the stars still shine bright, even when we can't see them.
Eons ago, Prometheus gifted the mortal world with fire. an element previously reserved only for the gods. The almighty Zeus, enraged by Prometheus's act, sentences him to eternal torment. He is chained to a rock, and his fate is to have his liver torn out by an eagle each and every day, just to have it grow back to suffer the same agony the next day. Zeus, looking to compound the punishment against Prometheus, and to punish humanity, who were now in possession of the fire formerly possessed only by the gods, asks the smith god Hephaestus, from whose very forge the fire had been stolen, to forge the first mortal woman out of clay. Athena, the goddess of war, born from the head of Zeus himself, brings this newly born woman first to Aphrodite, who gifted her beauty, and then to the messenger to the gods, Hermes, who taught her cunning. This first woman, born of clay and now possessing beauty and cunning, was named Pandora, all gifted. Pandora was taken to the mortal earth, where she was gifted to Prometheus's foolish brother, Epimetheus, as his bride. Despite Prometheus's warning against accepting gifts from the Olympians, he welcomes her, for she was too beautiful for him to deny her. With her, Pandora brought a gift, given to her by Zeus in celebration of her wedding. The gift was a small, intricately designed box. Thankful but confused, Pandora wondered what could possibly be inside. "You are to never open the box, Pandora," Zeus instructed her. "But why? How am I to accept a gift I have never seen?" she replied. "The box, regardless of what it may contain, is your gift. Have faith in the gods who created you. You are to never open the box." "Very well," she relents. "Thank you." Days passed in harmony, yet Pandora could not shake the sense that whatever was inside this box needed to be revealed. Perhaps out of sheer curiosity, perhaps out of defiance, perhaps due to some reason we may never know, and despite Zeus's concise warning, she opened the box. As the lid cracked, out poured evils of which the world had yet to bear witness to, shadows slinking and darting, sparks crackling and jolting, as newly born horrors were unleashed for the very first time. Pandora froze, staring in simultaneous wonder and horror at the sights manifesting before her, feeling an aura, energy, and weight, which prior to this inciting incident had yet to exist. She felt the inevitable understanding that the world was now forever changed, with no chance of turning back. As the last of the gray oozed from the edges of the box, she snapped it shut, as decisively as she had opened it, ending the chaos as suddenly as it had begun. It shook before it settled, and a yellow light leaked through the thin crack around the edge, flashing for just a few moments before fading, as the box once again fell still. Faced with this new reality, Pandora and the mortal earth at large, now cursed by the evils brought upon by the gods, had a collective choice to make. How would they face this plague of never-before-seen hardships? Would they succumb to the darkness, allowing it to cover and consume the earth? Or could they turn to the only thing which remained in the box, sent to their world from the gods, the ever-shining light of hope?